Swan, which is, let me go back to Amazon here. Spring, Time to Build a Nest, a story about trumpeter swans. So I'm just going to take this link here. I like the idea that with mind mapping, I'm able to also add links, which I think is really helpful. So later I can easily just click on something.
Did you get the whole link?
Yeah, I think I did. Let's see. Yep. And just check that out. Yeah, so it's good. So that's the Trumpeter Swan book. And we want, let me just go back to Amazon and look at the other one too.
That one, Mysterious Egg.
All right, Quincy the Quail and the Mysterious Egg. So one thing I immediately see is that you don't have a lot of reviews yet. So
No.
tell me when this launched and what you've done so far to get the word out about the book.
Well, I did have a launch in Arizona. I thought it was successful. No, the Quincy the Quail.
Oh, Quincy the Quail. Quincy the Quail.
And I had a launch, the Swan one up here in Minnesota at Tamarack Wildlife Refuge. And just not advertising, doing with my contacts on Facebook and Instagram. So no, I haven't done much.
Yeah,
I'm kind of waiting for Lida to do, to get started with her press kit and everything.
Let me see. I'm going to, as we go through and talk and review these pages, because what I can do, I can focus only on the keywords and categories if you want, but I'd also like to do things like, have a checklist of things that people should be looking at when it comes to, knowing if their book is ready to launch. The first one would be the Amazon page, meaning the description, and then the cover design and keywords, categories, title and subtitle, which are very important areas where you can get a lot of good keywords, reviews, and I'm probably going to think of others as I go through some of this, but those are good ones to start with. So if it's okay with you, now I'm not going to cut this off at 90 minutes. I know that that's the session. It says 90-minute session, but I'm going to go through this until it's done. So no worries about me spending extra time here with you because we're recording some of this, so I'm going a little slower and I'm focusing on more of a full view of everything with the book. Does that sound good to you?
Sure, great. Yep.
Good, good. So let's start with taking a look at the Quincy the Quail because we're there now. So the cover design, I would say, is stellar. I would rank this a 5 out of 5. Like, it's beautiful. It stands out really well. Who illustrated this? It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh,
Amanda Wells.
It's beautiful. The back of the cover, very nice, very nicely done. Yeah, she did a great job on it. Really, really nice job. I also want to go here and put another factor, which is price. So let's look at cover first. We already said the cover is beautiful. So I'm going to put a big green check mark on it. Let's look at the title and subtitle. The price. The reviews. Okay, so first and foremost, let's look at the title and subtitle. And I think, let's see. So, Quincy the Quail and the Mysterious Egg. So we want the title to say, to help convey, the title and the cover, to help convey something that the individual knows what this book is about. I think, again, 5 out of 5 stars from my perspective. The title is very clear, and I love the fact that it gives me this big question mark in my mind. I'm curious, what is this mysterious egg? And I want to thumb through it to find out what's going on with Quincy. So that I think you did a fabulous job with the title. The other thing that we're looking at with regard to the title, so I'm just going to put a couple things here, title and subtitle. Does it convey the purpose and story of the book? Is it interesting? And cover design, same questions. Should work well with the title, with the title and subtitle to provide clarity about what the book is about. Okay, so I love it. I think it's perfect. So we can go on. Now let's look at the price. Now what's the size of this book, Barbara?
It's 8.5 by 8.5. Excuse me, and it's 24 pages.
Yep.
20. Yeah.
24 pages. So tell me why not 32?
Because my loon books are between 22 and 26 pages. And when I did my first Quincy book, I want it to be the same as the loon books. And Amanda just did 10 illustrations, 9 illustrations. And so that was a 22 or 24 page book.
Okay, because normally it's a standard, the standard would be 32.
Yeah.
And I have seen in some cases where people purchase a book and then go back and say, this was such a short book, you know, I didn't expect it to be so short. They expect that certain 32-page length, unless they're dealing with like toddler books where we know it's not going to be really long because a toddler doesn't have a good sense of, attention span. So I just would question whether or not there's an opportunity there to, with regard to the length of the book. And I don't know that that's really causing you any harm because I haven't seen any negative reviews to that effect. But it's also, I think, because you don't have a lot of reviews yet that we don't see any, we don't have a lot of that feedback. Length of book, I'm just going to say maybe an opportunity to make it more standard. And I also am going to mention one other thing that I think would be really, come on, go, might be something you might want to consider, and that would be having a consolidated book with like you've got all of these amazing books that are all around the same topic, which is birds and the different stories about them. And so one of the things that I've been doing with Bobby Hinman is she's got 5 fairy books, and we're putting them into what we're calling the Best Fairy Book Treasury. And it's going to be one large book with a master table of contents that will drive people to each one of the stories. So they're going to be purchasing a larger treasury. It's like a celebration collection, an anniversary collection or something like that. But they're going to get a lot more, and they're going to get, it's just something that I think there's a lot of people doing that, and it seems to be working out really well.
Is she going to keep her other books?
Yeah, she can still, of course, yep. So adding, or I'm just going to say consider a treasury, because you can take everything that you've already done with your books and you can put them into one treasury. and at a really good price, people are going to be like, wow, I've got 6 books here, all in this one treasury. It's beautiful stories that I can read to the kids, or if they're a bird lover and they just really love that kind of thing, or it goes into a gift store. So it's the difference between looking at a beautiful cover and then seeing a really thin book, because it's not a lot of pages, to seeing this great, beautiful new cover. I would put a new cover that kind of highlights all the different books that they're going to get inside, and have, wow, it's a nice thick book, and it's got beautiful colors and it's beautiful illustrations. So I could see something like that being really desirable for like gift shops and things like that, where you're looking to sell some of these books.
Once I get the replacement books, I'm going to say cancel my contract. And then I have 4 loan books. 2 are not selling very well. And then I would consider doing a treasury that way.
Okay. So the contract and reworking of those books.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something that now are they printing them in paperback for you, or is it hardcover?
No, it's paperback, 8.5. And see, that's another thing. They're so expensive for me to buy from them.
Right.
And buy again to sell. And they're between 22 and 26 pages. So that's how they did it. And they charged me according to the number of pages.
Yeah, the hard part is going to be getting your files back from them.
Well, according to contract, all I have to do is ask.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, hope that goes well. But if you run into an issue and you need help, one of the things that I was just on a meeting with Bobby earlier today, and she asked me for some help, like looking to see whether or not we could do a better job of translating her landscape book into a square book. And so Pradeep from Pencil Master was able to masterfully extend the beautiful watercolor illustrations, and it looks seamless, and he created a nice square book for her, and even though she didn't have the original files, he was still able to do it. But it will come out a lot better if we get the original files. But if you end up getting stuck, it's not impossible to still move forward. So just keep that in mind. You're not completely stuck, and Pencil Master can help us with moving forward in that case. So I'm going to go, I went to price. I looked at price. It's perfectly in line with where it should be. What I would have hoped to see by now, though, is Amazon actually making a reduction for you.
Oh, they have.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is their reduced price?
No, that's the retail book price, $11.95. That's what I set it at, because my others are $11.95, with the exception of one loan book, and that's $14.95, which is ridiculous. And that's another reason I want to get out of that book locker, because they set the price according to number of pages.
Yeah. So normally what happens with Amazon, when you're doing like you're setting up things on KDP, you will set the price and it will match with a royalty. For example, it would be very common for the price to print this 8.5 by 8.5, a regular 32 size book, I think would be like around $3.50 or so. And so that's what it would cost you if you wanted to print copies for yourself. And it's just print on demand. You order your copies, and then about a week later they ship them out to you.
Well, that's what I do. This is Ingram Spark, and they do the same thing.
Yeah. So yes, the Ingram Spark is it's much more expensive, and that's why I don't.
Not really. Well, no, not really.
Okay. You don't think that the expense is difficult? So you just mentioned that you were having trouble with, or the price is higher for what you.
That's because of Book Locker. This isn't on Book Locker. This is on Ingram Spark.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we're not talking, this one here is not on Book Locker. It's the Loon books that are on Book Locker.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you feel like when I have heard that when you've got a book in Ingram Spark and it goes to Amazon, which, you know, you check off the book saying the button that, or the checkbox that says send it to Amazon, it should go over there, and the Amazon does consider it for a reduced price. And I have seen people where they'll list their book at say $14.95, and then if Amazon sees some good traffic toward the book, then they can elect to lower the price, and instead of taking it out of what you get, they take it out of their piece of the pie. So that's something that as we improve and increase traffic on your book, you should see a benefit of a lower price on the book.
Okay.
So I'm just going to make a note of that, more interest in the books could mean a lower price to customers for the holiday. That would be a good goal, because it'll sell better if we can. Not that the price that you've got there is bad at all. Now we're also going to be talking about the title and subtitle are areas that are like important keyword opportunities. And I can give you an example of one that I recently, I did some analysis with Patty Lennox's book. Let me just go to Amazon and pull up Patty Lennox. And this is the Zoo book, Can You Find My Shoe?
Uh-huh.
And it is a #1 new release. It has 15 reviews. So even though it just got started, by going through, you know, and promoting within the author work group, she's been able to build up some reviews here. She also has a free day that's coming up with Bookbub. So that should drive more reviews. So we're going to talk about some of that. But the reason I opened this right now is this is the title, Can You Find My Shoe? And then the subtitle, A Zoo Adventure for Ages 3 to 7. So the subtitle is, when we were doing our keyword analysis, this keyword phrase ended up being really powerful, very high search volume and very low competition. It was like a golden keyword phrase. So we put it here as the subtitle to capture phrases, to capture that search traffic that's coming in with just organic searches. So that's another reason. I mean, I wouldn't want people to put a subtitle in that doesn't make sense for their book. But if they can find a good phrase during the course of their keyword analysis that really fits well, then it makes sense to be able to use that, because right now you're not using your subtitle at all. So
No.
Quincy the Quail and the Mysterious Egg. So if we end up during our the course of our analysis coming up with a subtitle phrase that's really good, we might consider it. Something to think about, because right now that's like a whole big keyword opportunity that's not being utilized for you. So I'm just going to make a note that subtitle, use of keyword phrase, question mark. So we'll just kind of, not sure that it's completely you know, required, or that we'll find something, but so the reviews here, I would say this is a flag. We definitely.
So how do you get reviews?
Okay, so I'm going to put some ideas here in this mind map. So #1 is community. So the community of people in our Diane and Jay's group would be one. I also have the community, which is my Self-Publishing Made Simple work group. We have a process going on right now where I will post your books. I'm going to make an action item for me. April, post books into Self-publishing makes simple Facebook group. So what I am doing is, but I'm done with this group is, I as we have book launches, I'm putting them here and asking people to go in and to support these books. So I'm going to add a new one. Actually, I won't take up our time, but I will do it when we get off of this. So everybody here that has a book launch, what I basically have been saying is if you go in and support 5 other book launches, meaning download free books, purchase a book, add it to a wish list, go search for it, buy it, like take support 5 other people, and when it's your turn, then I will go through and do keyword analysis and help you promote your book and make sure that your book is ready and encourage others. I'll put it on my newsletter. Right now I have 3,200 emails on my newsletter email list. So I will help promote and get some traction on your book. So I'm asking that this community comes together and becomes a way for people to help one another and encourage one another, so that nobody ends up sitting there with little to no reviews as we start walking through it. I will add you, and I'll make sure that that gets added to the list here, post book to the Facebook group. So, and I will encourage and share and help you move that forward. The other thing is, besides community, when it comes to reviews, the second thing would be free days. So, which is one of, now is your ebook on KDP?
Well, that's what I'm in the process of doing.
Okay.
It's ready to post, but I want those keywords first.
Okay, so good. Once we get the updates to the keywords and we post that, we'll sign you up to KDP Select. And as a result of that, you will get promotional days for your books. And then, so here it's sign up for KDP Select. And then you utilize promo days. That's free when your book is free on Amazon. And you can sign up for Fussy Librarian. And I will take your book and I will push it out using a tool that I have purchased that sends it to dozens of other sites as well. It's called, let me see, KD.
Am I going to get a copy of this mind map?
Yes, ma'am, you will. I will, I'll share it. I'll actually click on you right now and say, invite people. So I'm going to actually invite you. Barb, what's your email address so that I don't misspell it?
Barb.Renner, RENNER, @gmail.com.
Okay, so now you'll get an invite, and I have made you, given you permission to also go on and modify and do things with this mind map as well, besides being able to view it. So the Katie ROI tool, I will use to push the free book to dozens of sites, just like the free Amazon promo, but it does it to, it pushes it all out, so it drives a ton of traffic. So the more downloads you have, the more reviews that you'll have. You also want to consider Bookbub and submitting for a Bookbub deal.
I heard that that's really hard to get in.
Well, you know what? They say don't give up. When I submitted for my first time, I was not accepted. But then maybe 30 days later, I submitted again, and then I was accepted. With Patty Lennox submitted, and her first time was accepted. So it depends on what do they have in that genre that they've already accepted. So it's not about anything personal about your book. It's more about how many do they need in each genre. Because when people sign up for children's books, for example, they only put so many in each week's email. So it's more about selecting the best of those, and then you shouldn't give up for sure, because it cost for that. I think it cost her about $140 for the Bookbub deal, but it's going to be well worth it when you see the amount. I think she'll end up with like maybe 1,800 downloads of her book, and of that, probably around 30 or 35 reviews. So that will go a long way. And these other things like Fussy Librarian ends up usually with 600 downloads, typically around that. And again, you know, you can get a higher rate of review when you're looking at a community like what we talked about, our own community. However, the typical standard rate of review is about 2%. So 2% of 600 downloads, you would expect to see that kind of turnaround for reviews. And the other thing that comes from having all of this stuff going on with your books, people downloading it, is that when they actually go in and do their page reads, you're going to get paid for page reads, and you could potentially, I would bet that for this, if you, like for Patty, let's take Patty for example, she's got all these promo things going on. She's got her Bookbub coming up on the 11th. And I would bet that that month she'll end up qualifying for a bonus because of all the page reads that she'll have. So sometimes a bonus could be $150 to as much, you know, it depends on how much. But I average usually with my book around $250 to $350 per, you know, for the months that I do a good job promoting and I get a lot of page reads. So that's not, you know, that gives you your money back for sure if you qualify. So this is an area that we want to work on with promoting your book. Let's go in and look at the page, the description for yours. Did you work with anybody for the description?
No, after I saw after I participated in your work group with Lida, I know it was somebody who was talking about the description. I went right in and changed the descriptions of all my books. Okay. Now that's not the description that's on the back cover. Okay. But I changed it on Amazon.
Okay. What is, I'm probably not using the right, what is a covey?
It's a group of quail.
Okay.
I guess I could say his family.
Yes. Only because I didn't understand what it was. Probably bird lovers will, but that just confused me a little bit. I would also, but the book, I mean, the description looks great. I mean, to me it does. I would also, I highly recommend considering a copywriter. So my favorite copywriter and part of my dream team whenever I'm putting a book together and launching a book is Lori Wright.
Right, she's the one I listened to during your work group.
Yep. So she also offers a service where she will take your book description. She'll read your book and she'll create 2 different book descriptions for you. She'll create ad copy, an author bio for you for your author page, and a couple of other little things. I think she might even be doing book blurbs for the back cover if you need it. So it's really, really worth it. The price of what I think it's like $70 or something for all of that. So if that's what I advise anybody that I'm working with. Of course, you know, not everybody has the budget to do all of these extra things, but I think a really good description, and yours is good, don't get me wrong, but Lori's is excellent whenever she does one. So if I'm looking to give this book the best possible chance of doing well, then I want the excellent description. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just something to think about. And Lori is wonderful turning these things around pretty quickly as well. So anyway, this looks good. I wouldn't have any complaints here. But is this a giveaway about what's inside the egg?
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because it gives it away, and now I don't really need to read the book about, you know, what it is.
Okay.
So I would say something like, listen to quail calls and other surprises, something like that, you know?
Okay.
So, so yes, this looks good, and I'm going to just on the action items, I'm just going to make a note, Lori Wright, copywriting, question mark. So you can decide whether or not you want to consider that. And if you've got multiples, maybe she'll even give you a package deal, you know, for multiple books. But that's good. So we are going to, I would say this is excellent. So keywords and categories. I'm going to start with categories because first and foremost, we want to locate 10 categories. So part of that is going to be pulling information together for your categories. You with Amazon KDP, when you're selecting your ebook, it gives you access to two categories only. So people say, well, how do you get 10? It really is just about requesting that that Amazon adds the extra 8 categories for you. So it's, you know, same help mechanism that you use for Amazon. You click on help, contact us, and it'll give you the choice between email or phone call, and you can do either. I typically just do an email, put the list of all of the categories that I want added, make sure I include the ASIN number for the book, and then go from there. And it's and then within usually 2 or 3 days, then it's listed in all of the categories. So you can decide. Do you want to go first, start with categories or keywords?
Let's do categories.
Okay. So my favorite tool to use for categories is Publisher Rocket, which was formerly known as KDP Rocket. Let me go here and launch that tool. Thing for anybody that's considering purchasing Publisher Rocket is that this tool is just under $100. I think it's like $97, but it's a one-time fee. There's no monthly recurring fees like all of the other tools that I tend to end up having to purchase in order to do all this analysis. So here is the dashboard for Publisher Rocket. We're going to go into the category search, and there's lots of other features here, but we're going to focus on categories right now. So with the newest version, the newest update, every time I log in, it says, woohoo, Publisher Rocket just got better. And it's always updating and giving me the most current version absolutely free. So I paid once and it just keeps giving me, it's just the gift that keeps on giving, which I love, but it might tell me to log out and log back in. So what I can do here, if I want to search all categories, I can just search from here. If I want to, oh, come on, I heard you the first time. So yeah, it relaunched it for me. Here we go. So we can search all categories by using this keyword here, this search here. Or if you want to, right now we're looking for ebook categories. So I'm just going to click on ebook, and then we'll start to do our search here. So let's do birds. And one of the things here that I want to just highlight here is this is number of sales that you need to get to number 1. This would be 11 in this category. Sales to number 10, so it means you're still on the first page, is 1. So these are really good. I mean, this one especially is a really good category. but I'm going to take them both and put them into our mind map here. What did I just do with the mind map? Here it is. So here is keywords, categories. So we are going to do and the other thing I typically do when I'll copy the list, and then I'll say 1 to, I think it was 14, right? Look. 1 to 11. So I'll go back here and back to this. 1 to 11. So meaning if I get 1 sale, then I'm on the first page, 11 sales, and I'm number 1 for this particular category. Now if we're going back to, and that's how you get, your bestseller ranking, or best, like you saw Patty had a little banner that said #1 new release. So that's how, when you choose the right categories that don't have a lot of competition but are very highly relevant, then you are able to do well with that. So this is 11, and oh crap. I need to stop talking and focus on what I'm doing here, I guess. 11, so 14 and 92. So I'm just going to enter that in for this. Just so that as we go through it, we're going to find other things about the books, and we're going to start organizing based on the potential of the category. So we'll end up with the top 10, and some other categories might fall below the line, but we can still leave them there as an opportunity to still work through some of this stuff with them as well. Okay, so birds specifically don't, have a couple of categories. Quail? No. Loon? No.
How about Southwest?
Southwest. Ooh. So this is history, nonfiction. Let's see, cookbooks.
What about desert?
Yeah, this looks good, doesn't it?
Well, it's still got like crafts and hobbies.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder if, does it, because it's birds in that area, would it fall in line with that category? Is it something that could fit in with other books that are there, do you think?
No, I really don't.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, I always encourage people to not stretch it so that people will raise eyebrows if they look that you're #1 seller in a specific category. Just because the category is good doesn't mean it's a good fit for you. So what are some of
I put desert or
gardening, desert storm? Nope. I'm trying to remember, like, what do they call the study of birds? Or
ornithology. ORNITHOLOGY.
Look at that.
Yeah, I like that one.
1 to 11. That's a good category. So you'll see that I'll be asking you questions and making you think about, like, for example, the themes of the book, themes of friendship, themes of, like, so there's a lot of things that you can target or look at. If it's a nonfiction, if it's something that has a specific subgroup that's really interested in those things, like bird watching, like that would be something, that potentially could be also a good search term, right?
One time I did a search for quail, and what popped up were how to cook it.
Oh, look, bird watching.
I didn't like that very much.
Bird watching. 1 and 11. I can tell you that you're going to end up on some first pages for sure. And if we can get you, 11 people to purchase or download your free book, all of a sudden you're a #1 in that category.
The one above that. Oh, we already did the bird, though.
Yep, we did that one, but we didn't do this one, bird watching.
No. Okay.
So that was strange because what I probably did is I did bird like this. I don't know why the bird watching didn't come up the first time, but it is coming up now. So let me just go on and add that to this list here.
Now, when I put that in, do I write that when I'm filling out the form for KDP?
Yep. What I would do is I would list all of these categories exactly the whole list like this, not with the 1, 11.
Right.
I would say please add these categories below to basin number whatever. And
Okay.
then have each one of these listed below, 8 categories, and then they will take care of it. And usually there's not a lot of back and forth. So it's something that you don't necessarily have to call them for. Okay, so that's good. What about
Sonoran Desert? S-O-N, let's see, Oran, desert.
So there are certain regions. Let me just look at the word regions. United States regions travel. New England, polar regions. So I don't know if you would consider any of these regions to be something that would
No,
be
probably not.
desert.
Desert flora fauna.
How do you spell that?
Desert Fauna and flora.
Yeah, the word fauna is not in any of these. So that's fine. Now what I'll do is I think what I'd like to do is look at children's ebooks because these are these children's books? So I just want to make sure it's children's books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But adults would also appreciate them as well, right? So we should
because
probably
there's facts in there about
right. Okay, so we probably want to look at education as well. But so for example,
education.
animal, like there's a lot of things. If we look at the different categories available under children, one of the things I like to do to kind of see the categories that float to the top is I take this sales to number 1 and I order it so that the categories that have the least sales to get to number 1 float to the top. And then we just want to go down and see if any of these are applicable or are a good fit for your book. Make sense?
Yep.
So a lot of foreign languages, basically if you have 1 sale, then you're a bestseller because these are all, it looks like these are all brand new categories. Another reason why I like to do analysis regularly is because Amazon's always changing categories and people are always getting added to categories. So a category that might have looked really good when you first got started may all of a sudden not be very good for you, and you might find new categories that you could swap them out for. So
what does ABSR mean?
This
first column.
This is your bestseller rank.
Oh, okay.
So this is saying the number 1 book in this category has a bestseller rank of 203,278. So if long as your ranking is better than that, then you could get to number 1. Gives you an opportunity to see like how good is the book that's there. If it's at 124, chances are you're not going to beat that book. not right off the bat anyway. So prehistoric. So people out there that have dinosaur books, go look at this category. It's brand new. Prehistory. So prehistoric kind of stories. Let's see. Holidays and celebrations, religious. This is great for Christmas books and things like that. Brand new category, guys. If you've got a Christmas book coming up, grab this category. Let's see. Italian, Islam, European. Holiday celebrations. So it looks like they're restructuring categories, guys. Another one is Kwanzaa. So go and take that. Jewish, Russian. So I'm going to just make a note to myself, a mental note that I have because I have a new Russian edition of my book, and this would be a good place for it.
Oh,
So that's be a good place to rank. And I understand that the Russian books, the Russian language books, are doing well, and a lot of the Russian people like to read children's books in English too. So there's an opportunity to do like a bilingual version. Let's see. Children's ebooks in Japanese. So I know this can be a little laborious, right? Just kind of browsing through things. This is not a biography, but for people that are writing nonfiction books about, say, like Martin Luther King or, you know, a historical figure, this would be a really good category to check out. As I'm scrolling through things, I hope you don't mind if I stop and point out those that could be really good. Here's one. If anybody's looking for an idea to write a book, if you've got aliens in mind and you want to do something really adventurous, an alien adventure, this is a great category to grab. Hockey, basketball, these sports categories are really good as well. They're new. Music categories. Okay, so diet and nutrition is another one for people that are like writing books about being vegan or food allergies. That's a good one for them. Forests and trees. This would be like a good for seeds and trees or anything that's, I've seen a number of books that have come out about plants, flowers, forests and trees, you know.
I think that's a big push with traditional publishers. They want stories about trees.
Yeah, oh really? Is that why we're seeing so many of them coming out?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know what they're pushing? Where do you hear about that?
I belong to a group called 12 by 12, and most of them want to be traditionally published.
Okay.
Writing 12 picture books in 12 months.
Okay. Gardening, flowers and plants, forests and trees. So it looks like there's a lot of categories about trees, gardening, plants, things like that.
And I think, you know, protecting our environment and
right.
Yeah.
Death, grief, and bereavement, and difficult discussions.
That's another big one that they want. The traditional publishers want more about death and bereavement.
Really?
Preparing children for that.
Yeah. It's a sad topic for me. I don't like to write about sad things, but I can understand the need for it for sure.
It would be hard. It would be hard, I think, to write a children's book that deals with something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Foxes and wolves. This is an animal category that's really looks hot. Multicultural stories about Hispanics and Latinos, another hot category. Fairies, folktales, and myths European. So I know that's not us, but just another call out for those that are doing it. Science, nature, and how it works. Anatomy and physiology. French ebooks. That's when I also have a French version that I haven't uploaded yet. So that's for me.
Of your
Puppy Pickup Day.
So you have Russian and French?
I have Russian, French, and Spanish.
Why Russian?
Because we had met with Amy Weaver, who does the video books and read alouds for like Diane Alber. She also has done a number of them for me and for people that I've worked with, and she speaks Russian, and she was telling me about the opportunities with regard that Russian people like to purchase books in English because they're learning English, and the kids love to get, and they're not readily available in Russia. So she's, it was just like a market opportunity. And I said, do you think it would be worthwhile to do a translation and maybe do like a bilingual version? And she said, absolutely. So she ended up doing the conversion for me, and it came out really well. I just need to take the time to upload it and see how it sells. I don't know how well it'll sell on Amazon, but it's worth a try. I
Yeah.
already had, especially, for folks, children's authors spend a lot of money on illustrations, and it doesn't cost more than like $50 to take your beautiful illustrations and have the book text translated and get a new format and a whole new book that you can market. So why not, right? So basic concepts of time, safety, mermaids. Huh.
Mermaids are big, I tell you.
They have their own category, but I have a pet peeve about the fact that fairies don't have a category. And under fantasy and magic, like fairies are big as mermaids are, right? But they don't have their own
Yeah, but I
category.
think mermaids are more popular now.
Yeah. Elephants, I'm surprised to see
Elephants, yes.
this category of elephants being so easy to rank in.
Yeah.
So for people that have elephant books, frogs and toad books.
Well, here's
Oh,
more
look.
ducks and
Ducks
waterfowl.
and
That
waterfowl.
fits my loons.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that up there. And we'll, let's see. And this is Arthurian, which is Jonathan would probably do really well with this category for his books. Some of the stuff that he does is all, King Arthur
Oh,
and
sure, yeah.
all of that.
It was a good session last night.
Oh yeah, I really had a lot of fun. He is a wealth of information and such a nice man. So supportive of other people, and that's kind of
He really is.
where
He
my
really
heart
is.
is too.
So you're going to copy that for me?
Yep, I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I think when I did the categories for my loon books, I did put waterfowl, ducks and waterfowl.
Oh, I should have looked at what the number is here. So it's 2 and 15. Yep, 2 and 15. 2. So then if as I'm creating this list, I would say, okay, so I'm looking mostly at the number to get to number 1. So these are 11, 11, 11. So just that's how I would normally rank things
Okay.
for that. So, and if you get to a point where you can cut off the categories at that point. Has this been helpful walking through it like this?
Oh, yeah.
Good. So we'll keep going here. Africa, I'm actually surprised that horses is such a good and easy one to rank for as well.
Yeah.
Because that's also an area where they put the unicorn books, because the unicorns don't have their own category. So yeah, 7 sales to get to the first page, 16 to be number 1. That looks really good. Multi-generational is another good one. Let's see. Water sports. That's a great one. Humor, winter sports. So these remind me of all Mary's books, the different sports books and, Olympics and winter sports and things like that. Fairy tales, astronomy and space. There was a woman that talked about astronomy and space yesterday on our session. This would be a great category for her. So really, there's not a lot to it except having the right tools or setting up time with me and kind of going through this. Mystery and detective, no. What about this? Education and reference. If you
Yes.
if you think
Yes.
about it, would you agree that that's that
I agree because I have facts in all my books
exactly? So
about quails. Yep.
4 to 24. Let me go put that there. Add this 4, 24, and That would go here. And
Now, if I wanted to do this for the paperback,
yes.
do I have to, I guess I go into a different category then, right?
Yeah, we would just check off the paperback, and most of the time there's a corresponding category to the
Right.
paperback. So we'll have those list of categories we can easily search and
Okay.
just copy and paste. So it'll go faster than just all of the, the stuff that we're doing here, which seems slow, I'm sure. Would you consider them farm animals? No.
No.
Time travel. Oh, that's cool. Weather. So this is another thing that I've heard people say, go check out the categories and opportunities and places that where there's categories that don't have a lot of competition if you're looking for ideas to write your next book.
Oh,
So
sure. That's a
yeah,
good idea.
that's a great idea to start there because you're able to see, as you can tell, Amazon has their finger on the pulse of what the traditional publishers want.
Yeah.
They're creating new categories because they're expecting books to be coming in those categories. Um,
Right.
so there's, no reason why we shouldn't take advantage of that. What about baby animals? No?
Yeah, because
The eggs?
the eggs, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that. Add that there. 8 and 60. I mean, it's not the greatest category, but it is a category, and it might fall below the line, but hey, we can put it there and see what happens and monitor it over time. And it still goes above this. Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Rabbits, United States, scary stories, nursery rhymes, abuse. Hmm. So now we're getting to the point where we see like to get to number one, you're in the 70s. So I think this is good for this area. But now, so remember, we went into children's
Where
books.
there's one down here at the bottom. Did we already choose that?
Yep, we
And
already
those
got
birds.
we already got birds.
Okay.
So one of the things I want to do, I want to go back to category search at the beginning. So instead of going into children's ebooks now, what I want to do is I want to look at education because I believe that your book has a real value for education and teaching. And
Right.
so I bet that we'll find a few categories in here as well. So let's do the same thing. Sales to number one. We want to look at the best ones first. Some of it is like more like teachers' resources, but there's other things here too that I found this to be really good. Teacher resources, parent participation. What do you think about that one?
I think that's a good one. Homeschooling too. I've been
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
touch with more homeschoolers.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. 3, that's a good category. Okay, so that's good. Go back here.
There's homeschooling right there.
Ah, nice. 5 and 22. Now, of course, as you could do this manually by going, if I did not have this tool, which I did not when I first started, what I ended up doing is going through and searching for books that were similar to mine or in the categories that I really wanted to rank. So, I just search for something like puppy books, dog books, books about kindness, and then I would find the really best-selling ones and then click on them and then scroll to the bottom and see what categories they
Oh,
were listed,
okay. Yeah.
right? And then I'd be like, oh, that's a good category. Let me go and check that out, But that's kind of how, before I had this tool, how I had to do it. Are you doing any kind of curriculum?
No, I should. I have
You
a
should.
craft that I've done.
Okay.
Um, but no, I know I should.
Maybe with the consolidated book with all of the different ones, you could also include a curriculum around it so that teachers could teach about the different animals and have a little
Good
bit of a
idea.
curriculum. And I've been told that Pinterest is one of the places that teachers love to go to find free curriculum. And so if they're looking for something, they head to Pinterest a lot, plus the Teachers Pay Teachers site.
Right.
So if you're going to post a curriculum for free and put it out there for the teachers, that can drive sales to your book because they'll like what they see there and that it's associated with your book, and then they'll purchase the book or download the book for their classroom. What do you think about this? Oh, this is,
Um,
yeah, not
Childhood education sounds,
elementary.
I don't know. Well, maybe.
I mean, it's
This sounds more like what teachers would use, not necessarily curriculum in their classroom. This sounds to me like what teachers would go to learn about teaching in
right, 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 right. Teachers' resources for reading. I don't know if that jumps
oh,
out at you.
reading. Yeah, that does.
So that could be 86. Okay. So let's see how many categories we have so far for the Kindle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10.
Yay.
But I don't want to give up because I also want to test. So now we're up to like sales to number one is getting too high in this category. But again, back to the beginning and let's just look. For example, arts and photography. There's birds and things like that in those areas, don't you think? Like people that love. So I would just look at these high level categories and think about whether or not any of them are worth kind of digging in and just seeing if there are any more that could, not that we already have 10, right? But some of the categories are, they're a lot, right? You have to get 86 to get to number one. So you might have other categories where you'll find that they can be serve you better. Science illustration. There's a lot here on arts and photography for people that have that niche
Uh,
to look at. So photography, travel, United States. So these are areas. I don't know if your book would identify with the landscape and the nature in a specific area that would fit well in the arts and photography section.
well, the trumpeter swan might,
Mm-hmm.
because I have had some sales in the UK,
Right.
and Rita's the one that illustrated that one.
Yeah, she did a nice job with that. So that's a UK? What area or part would it be like?
Well, I follow some people on Twitter,
Yeah.
and um, Gosh, I don't know. I can't say it offhand. And I think that I heard where all swans belong to the queen.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
I'm just looking at this. Would this be under like Europe? Is that
Actually, trumpeter swans in the loon books would fit into Canada. I've been wanting to get into Canada more, but
British? Oh,
it's
we have a British one too. Oh, but that's architecture.
that's architecture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not good. Mid-Atlantic. Oh, here's Canada.
there's Canada.
And people that are doing travel buy these kind of books with, at gift shops and things when they go visit the areas. So I think that would be, and look at this. It's a brand new category.
Wow.
So, do I have any doubt in my mind? Now, if we would have stopped before we got here, you would have missed out on this and a bestseller
Huh.
potentially. So, let's put it there. So, this one is going to be your number one category.
Wow.
Isn't that something, huh?
Who knew?
Who knew? So, that's why I don't like to stop until I've kind of explored at least like the best ranked categories in some of the other sections. So, let's look down. What about the British? Oh no, that's architecture. Never mind. Southern, Midwest. Not Europe.
No.
Okay. Forgive my ignorance about swans and birds. None of my grandkids or kids have shown a big interest in those, so I find my interests go towards wherever my kids or grandkids are starting to be fanatical about.
Do you mind if I get this phone call?
Not at
I'm
all. I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
browsing. I'm browsing. I'm good. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes.
So guys, if you're doing category review and you really want to pick good categories, it just takes time. You need to get through and spend the time just browsing. And I know it's can be laborious but it's going to be worth it because when you launch, you are going to have that bestseller badge if you find a good category that is really applicable to your books. Let's see, color, New England. I think this one will look good. 1 and 6. So we got our two top categories by just continuing on instead of stopping after 10. And I'm not going to go too far into this. I'm going to just go down to where I feel once the sales to number one starts going up too high, then I'm just going to switch over to another one. Here another one about prehistoric and primitive for art. So I would say dinosaurs books, I could make a case that dinosaur books might go there. Here's one for our new friend that just released a circus book. I am going to paste that onto a notepad for myself to give to her. Okay. That same person that wrote the circus book also has books about music and music appreciation, so I'm going to save that too. I'm always thinking about you guys as I'm scrolling through and doing my analysis, and from time to time you'll see me ping you with some suggestions because something jumped out at me that I thought would be good for you. Okay, so I think I'm okay here with, I'm going to do one thing just to see if there's anything about birds or fowl or swan. Okay. Um, okay, so that's good. I'm just going to go back to the higher level. Let's see what else is in here. Christian books and Bibles. Well, I think that there is a whole bunch of opportunities under Christian books. Let's just try this travel category. But then I'm going to try to find the Christian ones as well. Well, are there any authors who write about New Hampshire or Chicago? Maybe some ideas there for a children's book, because those are new categories that are just showing up. Travel writing. Okay, nothing here. I'm going to go back to categories and I'm going to search ebook. And Christian. And I have found a lot of Christian categories fit well with my books because they're on kindness, and so it doesn't necessarily have to be overtly religious to fit with morality and the things that Christian folks are looking to purchase. So keep that in mind as well. It's a lot of categories here for Jackie and her book. I'm gonna just grab them while I'm here. Jackie Coles is writing a Christian book about prayer and a little boy who doesn't want to go to church and kind of is writing back and forth to Jesus and talking to God about it. So I thought that would be really good for that. This is a perfect category for her as well. Mhm. Okay, this is getting to be too high, so I'm not going to be going any further into this category. Let's go back here and see if there's anything else. I want to check out literature. It's not really humorous, so I won't go into that one. But let's go into literature and fiction and see if there's anything there that's worth looking at. It's the people that spend time going through this and really browsing that are going to get the most benefit out of it. Or if you don't want to do it yourself, you can always pay me to do it. I do have a service for this keyword and category analysis.
Are we talking about mine now?
Oh, I'm still going through. Yeah, I'm still looking for just to see if there's anything in literature that might apply. I
I
don't
saw
think.
something back there with Canada.
Yeah, I see Canada, but it's literary criticism.
Oh,
So it's, yeah, we don't want to criticize the Canadian people.
they're our neighbors and our friends.
Yes, my family all comes from Canada.
Oh, really? What part?
Um, I think Quebec and a number of different regions. To be honest, I haven't really connected much with like my grandparents. My grandparents' parents came here from Canada and settled in Rhode Island,
Oh,
but I've not
my,
really connected to those folks in the original areas that they were from.
my book designer who's done all my books lives in around British Columbia area.
Yep. So here's another good example. I'm in literature and fiction, and you wouldn't think that this would be a great place to find things for children's books, but um, I hope it's a puppy, right? Has a book about it's a funny little cute little book with a pregnant mama and a baby guessing what the
Oh, how funny.
you
I
know
hope
so
she's happy.
so you can find like that would be probably a good category for her. Um, literary collections. So this is another, as we think about the the fairy collection and collections of yours, that might be a good category. It's children's ebooks, it's collections. So it's something in the future that might be a really good one to use. Here's one, Canada.
Teen and young adult.
Yeah, could teens and young adults enjoy the book with it?
Books. They're a little young for teens.
Okay, then we will move on. And is it written in rhyme?
No, no
Okay.
rhyme.
So we'll scroll past the poetry.
Yeah.
Soccer. That's a good one for Mary if she's not already in it. Here's for people that are doing art and for example, my coloring book, my adult kind of for older kids coloring book.
Uh-huh.
This is a good category for that because it's teen and young adult literature, arts and music and art. So you could definitely say that a coloring book could be found under that category. So just little things that you wouldn't normally. Now we're in literature and fiction. Who would have thought to go to literature and fiction to find a category? Okay. I don't see anything here. So I've got two really good categories from these other places that I wouldn't have expected, the top two categories. So I think we're good with this for now. I think we're getting to the higher numbers. So I think we've got our categories in a good space.